UFC Fight Night, Taira versus Royval. Welcome, everyone, to Winning in the Shadows. Andy and Jim are going to break down all the fights. Let's get right into it. Hit the like button. If you have not subscribed to the channel, go ahead and do that. Code word for today, blue. Just type the word blue in the comments section if you don't have a hot take. If you don't want to leave your best bet, helps the algorithm out. Code word blue really helps us out. Let's YouTube know that you guys appreciate what we're doing. Jim, let's get right into it. Junior Tafa. Darn it.
I'm so sad.
I know. I was waiting to bet on Chris Barnett, honestly, at plus money. Striker's Delight. I think Dana, I think they looked at it and they were like, enough's enough. Give Junior Tafa someone that is just going to stand and bang with him. What's your take on this short notice replacement?
I'm out.
I think that's a safe bet.
I'm out. Bet-wise, I'm out. Look, what are the odds even? Do we have odds yet?
No, I don't even care what the odds are.
Okay, if Junior Top is a favorite, I'm not betting them. It's that simple. I'm not laying any kind of money on a Tafa brother. I don't care who they're fighting. So yeah, I'm out.
This guy's 31 years old and he only has 4 fights.
know.
They're lightning quick. He's fought cans. I mean, it's perfect for Tafa.
It's great for him. It's just he's not a good fighter is the problem.
I know. I was yeah. Well, we'll move on. There's really not much meat on the bone on that fight unless you're looking at unders. You can definitely see unders. I think someone's going to sleep. But...
Once we get full props, I'll most certainly look at them. But
okay,
yeah, not a Tafa fan.
Quite the opposite of Junior Tafa and Sean Sharaf is Cory McKenna and Julia Polastri. What's your take on this one?
Well, Cory McKenna made the only decision she had to make wrong in her last fight.
Yeah.
Just literally do not grapple, and she did. Can we say that this Cory McKenna experiment is over? I know she's young, but are we going to look back on her career and just say to ourselves, like, God, she wasn't UFC level and never really was?
Listen, she beat Demopoulos a contender series. She's 3-2.
Kay Hansen, who's an OnlyFans model. Miranda Granger, what's she been doing?
Nothing.
Exactly. And then she fights Cheyenne, who
nothing.
Does not look great, hasn't done anything, never looked good to begin with. And all right, so how do you lose to freaking Elise Reed? I mean, come on.
Split decision. One judge could have gone another.
It's inexcusable. I think Polastri is going to roll in this spot.
Oh, okay.
I do. I think that she brings a level of violence and grit that is missing in some of women's MMA. I think she's got a ton of potential. Now, here's what I'm worried about. She's just getting to Vegas on Wednesday. She had a bunch of visa issues, travel issues. I don't know what it was from, but she's still only getting to Vegas till Wednesday. So I am not going to be betting this fight until I see weigh-ins, period.
Okay.
So I want to see what happens if she misses weight, if she looks good. I'm fine letting the numbers do what they will. But for me, it's Polastri or nothing. I just cannot bet on Cory McKenna. Who's the male fighter that we were talking about this with the T-Rex arms? It's Cory McKenna.
Oh, yeah.
She just can't get in range to even use her striking unless it's a clinch. She's at so many physical disadvantages in MMA. I'm going to be on Polastri.
I mean, the case for McKenna is she got a real quick lesson what happens if she tries to grapple. It goes to the ground and she's lost. So that happened last time. I think she's going to do her damnedest to keep this on the feet. I do like her forward pressure. And I watch Polastri get a lot of forward pressure in her fight against Knudsen, but Knudsen's kickboxer. Mm-hmm. That's kind of what she does. I'm with you that it's Polastri or nothing. Honestly, it's like, you got to lay juice on Polastri. We really want to do that, but it is Cory McKenna. So it's probably a pass. I can't see a very confident play on this one. It's kind of going to be a theme to this card. There's not a lot of really confident betting opportunities. But sometimes, fight nights are like that. And you just got to pick your spots, save your money. Don't have that nightmare card where you go, 1-6 on plays. So, the first 2 fights, probably nothing there. Dan Argueta and Cody had this is our we actually got a chance to go back and look at our notes. We've been doing detailed notes from this series, this season's contender series, already coming into play here. What do you like on this fight?
This line on Dan Argueta is going to stare me in the face, probably right up until fight time.
Yeah, I get what
Right
you're
up
saying.
into fight time. It's a debuting fighter. It's a debuting fighter who has a record of guys that is just not impressive. And I know he's coming from Australia, and Australia's hot. But in your debuting fight, to be a minus 180 favorite, when you're fighting guys, Billy Brand, who's 5-1, who was not good at all, that's your best record that you fought, is an
Yeah.
inexperienced guy. And now we have Dan, who's been in the ringer, back up against the wall. I mean, look at Paul Lugo, 9-7. Another guy's got double-digit losses. It's just Argueta is not the best fighter in the world, and he looked very, very bad against Matsumoto. That being said, would you rate Matsumoto higher than you do Haddon? I would.
Oh, way
Way
higher. It's
So
not even
that-
the different stratosphere.
That comparison to me is null and void. And if you're going to handicap this fight just purely looking at the fact that he lost to a younger guy that was off Contender Series, I think that's a real lazy way of doing this. And Dan wasn't doing too bad in the beginning. It fell off a cliff, don't get me wrong, but he wasn't doing too bad. I just haven't seen enough from Haddon that I think can warrant this price tag. And we're down about 3 cents on Argueta already since Monday. So if it starts really plummeting, I am going to be very, very tempted in Dan Argueta. I just think that this could be a veteran lesson for Haddon for his debut.
Why did he look so slow against Matsumoto?
I don't know.
I went back and looked at it. It looked like his bones were frozen, or that his joints were like had elastic on them, like they were bungee corded together. So why did he look so slow? He had his moments against Matsumoto, but it was a terrible look in the second round. If he comes out like that, it's going to be a massive speed advantage for Cody, and I will say that. And if Argueta falls off a cliff like he did in the last one, it's tough. To me, it's Argueta or nothing here. This is another one I kind of want to wait and see what he looks like at weigh-ins. Like, does he look stiff? Does he look loose and free? If he looks loose and free, it's dog money all day. But man, if he looks
nervous and the pressure, I mean, he's a lot of pressure on him right now.
Yeah. I'm with you. I appreciated that Haddon did what he was supposed to do, which is, beat Billy Brand in the first round. We were on that. We cashed on him, so we had a good read on him. It's dog or nothing on this one, but maybe potentially a good live betting opportunity. If Argueta comes out of the gate fast and then starts to slow down, and Haddon looks like he's got his energy, then it's going to be live bet on that one. But can't lay the juice to start. Won't make it my parlays either. So. Jonathan Pearce and Pat Sabatini. Odds are pretty close here on this one. Great matchmaking. I think this is going to be a pretty fun one. Who do you like?
Is Jonathan Pearce going to do it to everybody again?
Talking about what he did in his last fight, or
talking about making a stupid decision to lose a fight?
He's done it 2 fights in a row, really.
2 in a row.
Although the David Onama fight was a war. That went back and forth. I thought it was a really good one. But the Joe Edison Burrito, I mean, I've gotten Christmas presents that weren't gift wrapped that good.
He made a lot of errors in that Onama fight. He made a lot of errors. That's more so what I'm speaking on. Is for such a great grappler that he's billed as, boy, does he get reversed a lot. I mean, how do you end up in such a dominant half guard and mount and lose it? It's just inexcusable at this level if you're going to be some kind of massive wrestler. The thing is, I think Pat Sabatini is absolutely washed in the strike.
Whoa!
I think that chin is dust. Absolute dust. And again, what is this guy doing in between fights? He's entering grappling matches. Are you a grappler or are you an MMA fighter? Because personally, I don't think Pat Sabatini needs to work on his grappling. Just saying.
Fair point.
Maybe you shouldn't be in the grappling competitions and get your ass to Muay Thai class and figuring out how to move your head since your chin is dust. Just a thought. As a coach, we and Andy always say coaching and trainers and stuff. We wish we could be coaches and trainers because decisions like this would not be made if he was my fighter. They'd be like, oh, you want to go grapple? No.
Yeah.
You're going over to Alex Pereira's gym. You're going to train some Muay Thai. It's just inexcusable. I I just think his chin is dust, and I think that Pearce can crack it. Pearce is not the best striker whatsoever, but it doesn't take a good striker. Damon Jackson knocked him out with a front kick, which he's never thrown ever in his career. So for me, this is Jonathan Pearce. I think this number is going to look like a massive discount. If he can just not make a bonehead decision and stick his head in a submission. That's simple.
Big if. Big
it's
if.
A very, very simple fight here if he can just not make a mistake.
Yeah, I mean, I think you covered it. The big holes are Jonathan Pearce's boneheaded decisions and ability to be reversed, and Pat Sabatini's lack of striking. I'm going to lean Pearce as well. I really think that whoever wins, it's just going to be a glaring mistake. Like Pearce is going to do something dumb, and Sabatini is going to submit him, or Sabatini is going to grind out the rounds, or Sabatini is just going to get lit up. Like it's going to look like a dominating win, from someone. And I'm with you that Sabatini's striking is just awful.
What's interesting
defense is awful.
The under 2.5 is plus 140. So if you think somebody makes an error, which we've seen both guys do.
But yeah, both guys do it.
I mean, what more do you want for an under?
It's
I
not
haven't
bad
bet it yet, but plus money on that.
Not bad. Not bad. It's Pearce or nothing for me on that one. And honestly, I do lean Pearce. When you have a guy that gets knocked out when he can't win on the ground, it's too big. And I think Pearce is good enough, strong enough. Like he makes bad decisions sometimes, but it's not every decision that he makes is bad. I think he can stuff Sabatini and keep this on the feet long enough to just wobble Sabatini. That's the thing. Once you touch Sabatini, his grappling and wrestling is gone.
He goes white when he gets he goes white. He is deer in headlights when he gets once.
CJ Vergara and Ramazan Temirov. You got any thoughts on this one?
Not betting on CJ Vergara.
Okay.
To me, he's not a bet on fighter.
Okay.
He had that massive comeback, which he's going to probably be known for as his biggest achievement in his MMA career was that fight. And not impressed with anything really after the wins. Salvador, I think, is horrible.
He is. Yeah.
Almabayev's great. Like, he's fantastic. And losing to Almabayev, there's no shame in that. There's nothing the guy does great. There really isn't. I can't get behind him. I don't know a whole lot about this Ramazan guy, but I mean, boy, look at that record. It's a shiny record. He's coming in. I'm not seeing a whole lot of distance, so it could be a cardio spot for Vergara. But as far as a pre-fight bet, I have nothing. I will sit there and watch this fight live and see if I can get on something. If not, I am passing entirely.
I'm hoping this gets to round 2, and I want to see this Temirov's cardio tested. This could easily be one of those ones where Temirov dominant first round starts to get a little tired because I do know Vergara's not going to get tired.
Yes,
like Temirov's pace is not going to get CJ Vergara's cardio down. Now, could Vergara tire out Temirov? Absolutely. Vergara does. He's constantly moving and pushing forward. If Vergara wins, it's going to be one of those where he loses round 1, squeaks out round 2, and just grinds out a very tired Temirov. To me, I'm with you that it's not a bet before, but I will have my live lines open for sure, hoping that Vergara almost gets put away in round 1 and Temirov kind of goes a little bit too hard, too fast in his UFC debut. I'm with you. I don't know him a whole lot, but I'm not going to bet on a guy making his debut at this price. So hopefully we get a good live line on that one. Clayton Carpenter versus Lucas Rocha. We haven't seen either of these guys for a while. What do you think?
No, that's what's got me twisted. We really don't know what improvements we're going to see here. I think this is a fight. I kind of had it pegged in my notes. It actually says wait and see because I think one of these guys could come in looking absolutely out of this world fantastic.
Oh.
Because they're at the ages where they can make the improvements. They've had some time off. It's got all the recipe for if you're really look, like I'm saying, you're not seeing grappling matches. You're not seeing exhibition this, exhibition that. These are guys that are in the lab. They're getting better. They know that this is their time to get better. So I don't feel comfortable handicapping this fight. I know how long it takes to make improvements, and these guys have that time. There's a whole lot we do not know. I will say the experience for Rocha at 17-1 makes me lean towards the fact that he would be a little bit more of a finished product. I think we could see a bigger jump from Clayton Carpenter, but this will 100%, 1,000% be a wait and see spot for me. I will not be betting this pre-fight. I think this could be a curveball that people do not see coming.
I'll step out and take Clayton Carpenter in this one.
Okay.
Rocha's a lot of holes in that game, especially with the takedown defense in the ground game. And his Contender Series fight, man, he was losing. He was absolutely losing until the Hail Mary knee came out of nowhere. And it was a brutal knee. But up until that point, Bittencourt was out wrestling, out grappling, doing much, much better on the ground. And that's kind of what Clayton Carpenter does really well. So at least that's what he did, in Contender Series and in his UFC debut. I think that's the pretty big. If one guy has a big hole in their game, it's Rocha's with the takedown. So I will lean Carpenter here on this one, and not just lean. I feel pretty confident that Carpenter gets it done. I will say Rocha does have good power, good KO. Carpenter, I think, has a big advantage on the ground. I would lean this fight not to go the distance as well. Maybe Clayton Carpenter by finish, but I think one of these guys gets finished in this one. I think there's too many. Rocha with the power, Carpenter with the submissions. An under would be a lean, but I like Carpenter as my favorite pick in this particular fight. So
that's another plus money under 2.5.
Yeah, whenever I get a guy that is just really bad on the ground, it's always wide open. Once you get guys that are bad on the ground, possibilities are endless for how that fight could end. So I would absolutely take the plus money on that. And I mean, not only have we not seen these guys in a minute, we haven't seen them in well over a year. So it's kind of interesting what these guys have been doing. So Niko Price and Themba Gorimbo. Interested in your take on this one. Gorimbo, it's interesting because he's got probably the most interesting backstory going on in UFC right now. He's kind of a boring fighter, so they can't really do much with it. Like, he's not super marketable. What do you think here about Gorimbo and Niko Price?
I'll tell you what they can do. They can throw him Niko Price is what they can do to make him exciting. Because Niko Price is still going to fight like it's 2007. But his chin is 2024. So the brain is there, but the body's not. It just isn't. I think this was the Alex Morono fight was like the delayed stay of execution for Niko Price. Really was.
It was so bad. That fight was really so bad.
Again, entering grappling matches.
Result unknown.
I'm so over this.
It's 2023 and 2024. How do you have a grappling match, Niko Price, that we don't know the result?
It reminds me of like when LeBron would make a great tight end in the NFL. Like, no, stay in your lane. You're a fighter. Stop it. You get broken in half the first tackle. Don't even go there. So he throws a fight, I'll say it, against Robbie Lawler.
I have questions. I have questions about that fight.
This is right up there with Amanda Nunes. I've never seen someone pop up from being out cold so fast with a smile on their face. He went from unconscious to standing, hugging, and smiling in what? 4 seconds?
40.
Like, it takes me longer to get out of bed than it did for him to become conscious again. So I have real questions about that. Follows it up with one of the worst fights I've ever seen. Him and Alex Morono somehow wins because Alex Morono's washed. We'll get to him. And now I think they're like, okay, we're done with the Niko Price experience. I would assume, was his last fight the last fight on his deal, or might have been. So he either has a new contract or this is his last fight, one of the two. I doubt he has a new long-term contract. I seriously doubt the UFC would extend that. This is a great way to get Themba a highlight reel finish over a dusty, old, washed-up Niko Price.
Yeah, I don't know what to make of Gorimbo. So if you don't know Gorimbo's story, he was so broke he couldn't afford to eat. Some fighters took him under his wing, actually got him nutrition. Then The Rock jumps in and gets him a house. And I mean, he's ripped off 3 straight wins. It's amazing how getting proper nutrition, getting any nutrition makes you a little bit better. You know, in his last fight, it was just a push up against the fence mostly, but he's got the cardio to do it. That's the thing. Like,
And
you know,
Niko doesn't.
and yeah, and that was the thing. The only reason Niko Price beat Alex Morono was because Morono gassed a little bit worse than Price did, which is a miracle. But Morono was winning in the first round. There was grappling exchanges that Morono was winning, and then Niko Price falls off a cliff. Morono's like, "Hold my beer. I'll fall off a cliff worse than you." And it was awful. Like if Niko Price was fighting anybody else besides Alex Morono that night, he loses. And now
One
he's
of the
not
worst
fighting.
third rounds in history.
Oh man, it was brutal. You were like, is this a 10-round fight? No, 3. So Gorimbo, I think, just needs to stay out of harm's way in the first round. Don't let Niko Price land one of those shots. But can Niko Price even land that shot anymore? I mean, lost to Lawler, lost to Rowe. Yeah, he just hasn't up kick in 2019 against James Vick is his last finish. I think Gorimbo probably pushes him up against the fence and controls him and just tires him out. And after the first round, Price's cardio is probably gone, and Gorimbo's probably going to keep going, and it's probably going to be a boring fight. I wouldn't take it to go the distance because it's Niko Price, but I think it's Gorimbo, and I think UFC keeps feeding Gorimbo, literally feeding him food and fighters that he can beat. So it's Gorimbo. For sure in that one. So real quick, guys, just want to tell you guys what we have up for this week. We have 5% UFC play on this card. Actually, we mentioned that it's not a high volume week at all, but there is a couple bets that really stand out. One of them is 5% worthy. So if you have not gotten that, grab that over at Wager Talk, wt.buzz/AL for the shortcut. And our college football best bet is up 18-5 lifetime, 4-1 this season. Nice cash last week on the Indiana Hoosiers, going over their team total. And we've got another team total that is up. College football, we only do 1 play per week, and it's just worked out beautifully. So grab that. If you have not joined the Discord, go ahead and do that. You can copy and paste that link or just look up Discord Winning in the Shadows. We've got some free plays. We've got some really nice discussions going on there about live bets, just about anything. It's the adult version of Discord. It's not a bunch of arguing and just a bunch of nonsense in there. We've done a really nice job keeping it clean, keeping it professional, and everyone in there has the same interest. So if you're interested in like-minded people who takes their bankroll serious, encourage everyone to join that. That's a free Discord. And just full disclosure, and yes, it is easy to have full disclosure when you're doing well this year, but we always talk about our wins and our losses. Our 2024 official record, 450 wins, 291 losses, 147 units of profit, 8.6% ROI. That is all sports. UFC and MMA have been going great, and next week is PFL, so get ready for PFL. Let's try and cash this 5% UFC and then roll it into a 5% PFL next week. Oh, man, Daniel Rodriguez and Alex Morono. We just talked about Morono gassing worse than Niko Price. I can't believe Alex Morono is still fighting. Surely we're not betting on him, right?
No. No.
Thank you.
No. Breaking news. Not betting on Alex Morono. I've heard a couple breakdowns on this. I saw this line come out and I loved it. Absolutely loved it for Daniel Rodriguez. And I said, what am I missing? So looked at a couple other, pieces of information about this fight. And I keep hearing, and I know because I follow the fighters and we know what these guys have done, this high credentialed black belt that Alex Morono is. One of the highest ranking black belts in MMA with jiu-jitsu.
Are you serious?
I'm dead serious. Oh, yeah. He's like a 4th or 5th degree black belt.
Okay.
He's up there.
Is he going to show us?
There's my point. Look, black belts are not all created equal. This is the one thing, and this drives me nuts when you hear fighter introductions and you hear jiu-jitsu purple belt, jiu-jitsu brown belt, black belt. I know millions of brown belts who can kick the shit out of black belts in multiple disciplines. Okay.
Okay.
I used to love not being a black belt and getting to compete in the black belt tournament because you're underestimated. The belt doesn't mean crap. You got to show me that you're going to use it. Now, I could look like a massive sucker after this fight if he somehow gets a rear naked choke on Daniel Rodriguez, but we just haven't seen it. So I can't bet on something because on paper it says it's going to work. I got to go with my eyes here. And Alex Morono has no cardio. He has no power. He's got no defense other than staying out of range. He's a master of staying out of range and doing nothing.
Well, he also ends
Absolutely
up
nothing.
staying out of his own range.
Exactly.
where he
He's the
can't do
king of
anything.
swinging and hitting air. He stands upright. There's no power on anything. And if he gets caught by Daniel Rodriguez, I think that we finally are going to see Alex Morono hit the deck and not get back up. His cardio is not going to be there. D-Rod coming off the Gastelum fight. Refresh me if I'm wrong. We loved Gastelum in that spot.
Yeah, we did.
We
We
loved
loved
him, right?
Yeah.
And that was a no-brainer. No-brainer. Fighting Gary in that situation, that was a weird fight. It's a Gary fight. They're always weird fights. No shame in losing to Neil Magny.
Yeah, especially 2022.
No, not at all. So at this point, I don't know who's more committed. I think both of these guys are kind of looking at the next part of their careers, but I can tell you what my eye test says, and that is I am staying as far away from Alex Morono as humanly possible. I love Daniel Rodriguez in the spot.
Yeah, Morono's cardio is yeah, he won against Court McGee, and we bet on him against Court McGee, and we were terrified.
Mm-hmm.
He got annihilated in the second round. Court McGee took him down, and that was that. He barely kept it on the feet in the third round and squeaked out. But I mean, he's got a submission win against Tim Means, and Tim Means is now getting submitted by everybody these days.
No surprise. Yeah.
You know, goes to decision against Mickey Gall, David Zawada, Matthew Sulzberger. So the list of winners Alex Morono's beaten's not looking good. And this fight against Niko Price, we cannot emphasize enough how bad Morono looked in rounds 2 and 3. So D-Rod is the pick for me. And it's amazing Morono's 3 years younger than D-Rod, but giving D-Rod the big advantage in the cardio. So
might be a Jose Aldo age problem with that.
Yeah.
Score. Don't look it. I can tell you that much.
Josh Fremd and Abdul Razak Alhassan. I mean, to me, this is striker versus grappler.
This is striker versus grappler, and this is who's going to make the mistake first.
Well, they're both going to make mistakes. We know that.
This is true. I don't know who's going to make it first, though. This is the problem. And all it's going to take is one in this fight.
Is Fremd going to walk into a punch, or is Alhassan going to walk into a takedown?
Yes.
Who is it? What do you think? Come on, you got to pick one. Who's
I don't want to. Don't make me. I'm going to take Josh Fremd. I don't
to make the mistake or to win the fight.
To win the fight.
Okay. All right.
Alhassan's last fight against Cody. Yeah, he looked good. That's great. That's wonderful. If that fight got extended another 2 minutes, I got a feeling Cody Brundage was going to end up on top, and it was going to be a really bad night for Alhassan. Are we in agreement with that?
Yeah, I mean, Cody Brundage, my God.
I know.
Like,
At least these were legitimate elbows. He did get blasted.
Yeah, Cody shoots and Alhassan landed 13 or 14. Just massive elbows, and some of them went to the back of the head. Cody Brundage, I've never seen a guy get away with winning fights and no contest because it blows to the back of the head. Now, this one were actually blows to the back of the head, but it did show that if you shoot in on Alhassan, you better get him down because he's going to rain down some big-time shots. So I'm with you that I think Fremd eventually gets to take that because Alhassan's cardio is non-existent after the first round. He loses the split decision to Buckley, but Claudio Ribeiro, that was a tailor-made like striker versus striker.
Yep.
He gets submitted against Joe Pyfer. Fremd is not good. We know this. But the advantage does lie in the grappling and the wrestling, and if he can get him on the ground. I just think when Alhassan gets to the ground, you can just keep him there for the entire round. Like
Once he's
Fremd,
flat, it's over. He's
yeah,
not getting up. He's not building a base. Getting him there is the hard part because of his judo background. He does have really strong hips, but let's not forget about the length of Fremd.
he's a tall frame. He is tall. He's big. He's the size is going to be interesting because Alhassan's a little bit shorter, stockier, like more muscles and such. So
That could really be an asset for Fremd in the grappling. If he can get this cage control, I think that his height and the length of his arms are going to be a real problem for Alhassan defensively. I don't see this fight going the distance, not one bit.
yeah, he's like 6 inches taller than Alhassan.
It's a big difference. It's a big difference. And not that that's going to help with like the blast double legs or the single legs, but against the cage, lace one leg, throw your arm over. He's got so much length to tie up Alhassan, who's more of a short, stocky guy. And once if he can get to the point where he gets his hooks in, we've seen Alhassan flatten out so easily. That's going to be Fremd's world. So I think this is another one you could bet live. I think that if Alhassan doesn't get the knockout in 2 minutes, you're going to fire on Fremd. And Alhassan probably lands a pretty good shot in the first 2 minutes too. You might get a better number. But I'll go Josh Fremd.
All right. I like the under. I think that's a good way to play. It's an Alhassan fight. So, yeah, looking at unders. Chidi and Njokuani and Jared Gooden.
This card.
It's a pretty rough card. Any hot takes on this one?
Second time for Chidi at this weight class. I'm very curious. Very curious. This has piqued my interest. I think we should take a lot of what we know about Chidi and put it out the window a little bit. And that was evident on that Reese McKee fight. You saw an extremely measured Chidi and Njokuani. Now, Jared Gooden is not going to come out and push some kind of pace like the Oleg Zajac fight where we saw Chidi gas up a higher weight class. I think
that was a gassing. I don't know if I've seen somebody like absolutely fall apart within 3 seconds. He was going, and then it was like the battery got taken out.
Eyes went like this.
Done. It's a wild one.
I wonder if this move to this weight class is forcing him to be a little bit more patient. Like he doesn't have an option now to go balls to the wall or play smart. Jared Gooden's back in the UFC because he accepted a late notice fight against Carlston Harris. And he probably signed a 3-fight deal. They gave him Wellington Turman, who we know now is one of the chinnier fighters on the card, or on the roster. And now they're giving him Chidi in his second welterweight fight. I know there's an age advantage for Gooden, but I just don't think Gooden's that good.
He isn't.
I think the more damaging strikes are going to come from Chidi, and if we see that measured approach, he's going to keep Gooden on the outside, and I would not be shocked to see another decision.
Oh, I was going to say overs.
Yeah,
overs all day is the way I'm looking at it. Jared Gooden's not finishing Chidi. Chidi learned his lesson, and it's like you can't fall apart like you did against Zajac. You just can't. So I'm with you that I think Chidi. And I mean, this fight against McKee, that was never in doubt going to the distance. It was really boring. Jared Gooden, kind of the same thing, goes the distance against Harris. He gets finished against Turman, but Turman's just so awful. So, yeah, I don't care who wins. Just give me the overs on this one. It's probably juicy. Haven't looked at it yet, but that's a potential parlay piece depending on what the line is. So, Grant Dawson and Rafa Garcia. I don't know. 16-3 on paper sounds good. I'm just never really impressed with Rafa Garcia. What do you think?
Nope. I agree 100%. I looked at the records when I first saw this fight, and I'm like, oh, Grant Dawson. Then you start thinking about what you've seen from Rafa. And God, is it disappointing. It is so underwhelming and disappointing. Just nothing kind of ever happens significantly. I don't know how else to say it. There's never a moment in any of his fights. Losing to Natan Levy's a bad look.
Well, no, he beat Levy.
Oh, I'm sorry.
You're
Yeah.
you're thinking of
Yes, thank you. Thank you.
Grutzenmacher.
That fight.
That was
Oh,
awful.
that fight haunts my dreams.
Yeah, it was a really bad
dreams.
one. I lost. I definitely lost money on that one. But yeah,
Yeah.
Natan Levy stinks. Jesse Ronson and all of his roid
No
issues.
juice. Yep.
And then goes a decision against Masha Clay Guida, where Clay Guida decided to strike for the entire fight. What a gift that was. What a gift that was to Rafa. So
that was a gift. And I don't think he's going to see that against Grant.
you think?
If Grant Dawson has a morsel of a brain cell in his, they are going to be on Rafa's back so fast.
Yeah.
Like, just get this guy to the ground and do your thing. And we saw it in the last Grant Dawson fight. You called it out to a T that Bobby Green fight threw everybody off the scent of Grant Dawson. Oh, he's the chinniest fighter in the world. He freaking dominated Joe Selecki. I mean, it wasn't even close. He learned his lesson. What I like, too, is he didn't screw around on the feet. Even though he was fighting a guy who was not much of a striker, he was like, you know what? This is what I'm good at. Cardio advantage, most certainly Dawson. It's got to be Grant Dawson in this spot. I can't see Rafa Garcia beating anybody who is fringe top 10 worthy.
It's really funny. Like one knock, he got hit with just an amazing like 1-in-100 punch from Bobby Green. Now if he would have won that, now you're looking at title contender.
It's a run.
And he's fighting Joe Selecki and Rafa Garcia. I'll take it. I got to be honest. When I went back and kind of watched that Rafa Garcia Clay Guida fight, because I was like, decision against Guida is interesting. Yeah, Guida didn't try any wrestling, right? It was very strange. Guida got his ass kicked striking. And I was just watching Garcia move around. He not that terribly fast. I was like, Dawson's gonna get a hold of this guy as soon as that bell rings. Like, you may hear the vibrations of the bell at the same time that Dawson's getting in. And the nice thing about Dawson is, you got to worry about the wrestling and will they stand him up. Dawson gets on your back and locks in the body triangle, and they don't stand you up.
No.
And that is, I say that Dawson is the best body triangle from the back in UFC. What he is, you cannot reverse it. Once he gets those legs wrapped around your waist, you're just not reversing it, and he's going to stay active and win the round. So I'm with you. It's Dawson, probably by decision. That's kind of the Dawson way, like beat the guy up on the ground, but doesn't quite get the finish. So probably Dawson by decision. All right, we got 2 fights left. Again, if you have not hit the like button, go ahead and do that now. Code word is blue. If you could put that in the comments, really appreciate you guys. Tell me who your best bet is. But if you don't have a hot take, you just want to help us out, just type the word blue in the comment section. Our boy Brad Tavares against another one of my boys, Iron Turtle, Jung Park. We've done really well on Tavares. We took him to beat. I think we got his last 4 fights right. We got losing to Duplessis, losing to Silva, winning against Weidman, and then losing against Gregory Rodriguez. So it's a guy we've correctly hit on his last 4 fights. Do we feel confident enough to make it 5 in a row? What do you think?
I love Park in this spot, but something has kept me off this fight. I really want to fade Brad Tavares. I do. I think he's done. When you start seeing Brad Tavares get knocked out, that's a bad thing because he's a guy who has hung his hat on his durability. So the knockout against Gregory Rodriguez can knock anybody out. But the fact that it came in the 3rd, at that point, if you remember that fight, there was a lot of action from Rodriguez, and they were going at it. So for Rodriguez, is it impressive that Rodriguez carried his power, or is that a sign that the Brad Tavares chin is officially cracked? Because we've seen all year guys lose their power after round 1. So for you to get knocked out in the 3rd, I don't think it was a cardio issue. I think it was just Rodriguez hit him like a truck in the 3rd. So I don't know what to do with that. I have major problems with the Weidman fight still to this day, that he, for some reason in his career, did not take the opportunity to KO Chris Weidman. Like, talk about opportunities missed. Why? What do you not like money? You don't want a bonus? I guess you're making enough, Brad. I don't think there's much more for Brad to do in this. And Park is like a Toyota Corolla. It's not going to light the world on fire, but man, that thing is going to be around for 279,000 miles. And all you got to do is change the oil. He's just the same speed all the time. And it works. It works. That decision against Muniz, I thought Park won it.
It
I
still
thought he
haunts
did
me.
enough. Yeah, I thought he did enough. And if he did, we're on a 5-fight win streak with his only loss being Gregory Rodriguez. So
Interesting.
the A side to me is Park. It's under minus 200. You can play it straight. I just don't understand why I haven't done it yet. There's something about it that's kept me off. Maybe you can shed some light.
Yeah, so split decision against Eric Anders, Joseph Holmes, Dennis Lulin, and Albert Duraev. That's why. I mean, Duraev's his best win. Like, Duraev, he's got to win against Kopylov, but that was before Kopylov made all his changes. And, Duraev loses to Buckley, loses to Park, beats Chidi, but barely by decision. But Dennis Lulin's awful. Joseph Holmes is awful. Eric Anders is terrible. So I think that's what it is. Like credit to Park, like you said, he's the Toyota Corolla. He just, keeps on chugging along. But the fact is, he couldn't, as terrible as that fight was, Muniz just got him down and just held him there and did absolutely nothing to him.
Yeah.
Fact is, he couldn't get out of that. And that's a problem. Is Brad Tavares going to do that? Absolutely not. No way. Tavares has got pretty good takedown defense. But on the feet, what have we seen from Brad Tavares to make us want to support him? I'm beating Chris Weidman the way he did was actually a terrible look. I was worried that we bet on him, and I was worried he was going to lose that one because I thought they were going to give Chris Weidman the Weidman treatment. Now they did it the next fight, but them and the good vitamins showed up at Chris Weidman's next fight.
Yeah.
But I'm with you that Tavares is just a fade. What's he going to do to Park on the feet?
He's not knocking him out.
No, he's going to throw a couple punches every minute.
He'll end up with his back
low
against
volume.
the cage, right?
I was just going to say he's going to end up moving backwards because that's what he does. He couldn't even push forward against Weidman, who was on one leg. Mm-hmm. Park is going to push forward the pressure. Park is so sneaky with his takedowns, even though Tavares does have good takedown defense. It would surprise me if Park ends up on top. I just don't see where Tavares does have the offense to actually do enough damage to Park. So Park is the play for me, just because I don't see what Tavares' upside is. What's he do good? Seriously, what does he do good? I don't know what he does good right now.
He's another guy that we talk about where the first thing you say is, wow, he's tough. He's a dog.
And he's been knocked out in 2 out of his last 3.
It's a skilled MMA fight. You have to have some skills to bring to the table. Being tough is not a skill. No, you're either given a God-given chin or you're just one of these mentally strong guys. Yes, you could say it's a skill, but you got to have some actual offensive skill.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that's the point. Okay, is he tough? Yeah, okay, he can take a beating. Okay, yeah, but he's been finished by Bruno Silva and by Gregory Rodriguez. Does Park have that kind of power? Not Gregory Rodriguez power, but he can hit.
Yeah.
He can touch you. So I think it's Park. Just because I don't see name what's Brad's path to victory. It's not on the ground. It's not high volume.
Split decision, low volume, isn't it?
Yeah, but Park's not that low volume. Park's not going to throw one punch per minute like Brad can get into. So
what I like about Park is he throws. I think his striking is underrated.
It's absolutely underrated.
He throws really, really nice straight shots. And we spoke about this on Contender Series last night. What Park does is he just keeps touching you. Then he just keeps touching you. He doesn't overextend. Every once in a while, he'll put some oomph on one, but he just keeps touching you. And it's more of an accumulation of paper cuts that get him the wins more so than, the machete.
Yeah. Main event time, Brandon Royval and Tatsuro Taira. Money keeps pouring in on Tatsuro Taira. 16-0. Jim, is this his first loss? What do you think?
It's going to be his toughest fight.
Oh, 100%.
I mean, that's not even in question. I like Taira a lot. I like him a lot. Little side note: Taira's from Okinawa, which is where my style of martial arts is from. So I've been a fan of him before he was even in the UFC. I knew about this kid, and the impressive thing is he's not a karate based fighter. He's a wrestling based fighter. So really, really impressive to come from that side of the world, which is good of grappling that he has mixed with the striking. People were worried about his striking, and I happen to know his background and what style he's trained in. And I knew he had striking in his back pocket, but the wrestling is where he makes his bones. That fight against Perez has me a little worried about this one. Till Perez hurt his knee, I didn't think it looked that great for Taira. Really didn't. He was on his way in a 5-round fight to a fight starting round 3 against a veteran fighter who's been there, done that, and was holding his own. So I'm not jumping up and down saying, my God, that was amazing. And I think that if you put Alex Perez and Brandon Royval in a fight, I'm taking Brandon Royval, no doubt about it. The chaos that he's going to bring forward to Taira is something he's never seen. I don't think he knows this pressure. And that could be a real problem with a young fighter. That can get psychologically in your head. You say it. You want to say it? At 16-0?
Is Taira gonna finish his career undefeated? No.
Nope.
I don't think so. So when's his loss coming? I'm with you that Royval's going to cause some big time problems, and I know Taira's seen how he's this great guy on the ground and everything, and Royval struggled with getting taken down. Royval's been fighting Brandon Moreno and Pantoja, Nicolau for what that's worth. Matt Schnell back in 2022, Bontrain, Pantoja, Moreno, like it's the who's who of this division. And I thought Taira got, I don't want to say like gypped out of a good opportunity, but man, that would have been a great fight against Alex Perez if it would have gone a long ways. We could have seen what Taira's made of in the later rounds. We could have seen what happens with a guy that can fight back. Like he knocks out Carlos Hernandez. Edgar Chairez took that fight on completely short notice. And yes, it says go to decision. Taira laid on Chairez for the entire fight. We saw no levels to Taira's game. It was just a domination on the ground. A couple of submissions to Vergara and, Aguilar. So, this Perez thing, he faced adversity and we didn't get to see how he was going to really deal with it. No. So that was an unfortunate learning experience that he didn't get to, go through. I think he's going to go through it here, and I think Royval tops him. Royval's going to have this jab and this long reach that Taira's never seen. I'm sorry, that Royval he is so awkward. He's just standing there with his hands at his side, and all of a sudden, bang! Like it's just like, fuck, you hit me with a jab again. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, you're right, man. It comes from weird angles, and he throws it from his waist, which a lot of guys don't see coming. It's just he's really good with it.
I think Royval's going to have the better cardio. And the only reason I say is because I've seen Royval's cardio. I haven't seen Taira's. What was it this short notice with the Royval Moreno? That was short notice. Royval looked great. Goes to all 5 rounds and gets the split decision win. Barely loses to Pantoja. And I think if you fought Moreno and Pantoja, I'm not sure you're that intimidated by Taira and Taira's ground game and submissions. I think Royval's just kind of seen it all. So I think this is the spot that Taira loses. I'm stunned that this much money is coming in and that this price is coming in on him. I really can't believe it. And what did I see? Like Brandon Royval's been an underdog in his last 8 fights or something. He's 4-3.
First of all, that's how you bet Royval. You don't bet Royval as a favorite. You bet him as an underdog because he brings a level of chaos, which makes him susceptible to getting hurt and getting injured. And, hopefully we don't see another fight end by random injury like we had to this past weekend.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's an underdog. I'm not going to say he's a dog.
Yeah.
He's an underdog. Yeah, I think you could probably still watch this live and get a good number on Royval. Something's fishy. This line is just fishy, isn't it?
To me, it's crazy. I mean, this is
madness.
just saying Taira's just going to absolutely ass whoop him,
Exactly.
which I just
Which is,
I
if
don't.
that's the case, give him the title shot now. Why is he fighting Royval?
Yeah,
So it just makes no sense.
Like if Brandon Moreno couldn't whoop his ass and Pantoja, barely beats him, not an ass whooping. Like Taira's the guy that's going to really put him on him. I just don't buy it. Like if Taira wins, it's going to be because he controls Royval on the ground, and
It's gonna be boring.
It will be a boring, and I got to tell you, Taira's looked a lot more interested in trying out that old striking.
Yes, he has.
Like Carlos Hernandez, he gets his first knockout win, and then tries to stand against Perez. His path to victory is to try and take Royval down, but I just think Royval's striking is going to be a little bit too much, and it's going to be different. I love your point about the chaos. It's going to bring a chaotic nature, and I think Royval ends up kind of controlling the pace, which is going to throw Taira. I think Taira's just going to see a bunch of things that he's not seen in this one, and Royval. This may be a really, really good learning experience for Taira. Maybe he comes out better. I mean, to me, it's kind of a win-win for Taira. If he loses, it's probably going to be okay. I know what I need to work on to fight and the best and win the championship. Now we got to make some adjustments. We'll drop down a level of the competition, beat 2 or 3 guys before we get a real shot. But if he wins and looks great doing it, then great, you get all the answers. So I think it's a great setup for Taira. He may have all the pressure on him, but like he's so young in his UFC career, whatever happens here is just going to be a good thing for him. But especially at the price, Royval's the pick for me.
With the wrestling, like Taira's going to get a takedown in round 1. Just if he decides to get a takedown, he's going to get one. The thing is Royval exhausted Pantoja from the bottom when Pantoja was grappling.
Yeah, just
that's
pure
how
activity.
hard the champion had to work to hold this guy down. So to take a kid who has never been 5, never fought at this level, and expect him to be able to do that and maintain that pace, round 4, Royval ain't laying there.
Truth.
He's gonna look like a spider monkey trying to get up. He always does.
So. Yeah, you're right. Always moving around. So, all right. So, for these picks or for the main event, Royval at the plus money, and you're right. Live. This could be a live betting haven for some of these fights that you got guys with bad cardio. You got a really weird card with a lot of bad fights on there. So, could do really, really well with live betting. We will be live on the Winning in the Shadows YouTube channel on Saturday for this fight. So been doing really good with our live bets. Definitely. Dana White Contender Series was a big success again on Tuesday. So if you want to join us, really encourage you to. The live bets are where it's at in UFC, and this card could prove to be really, really profitable with some of them. So all right, guys, that is going to do it for us. Thanks again for watching. Appreciate it. Don't forget to hit the like button. Leave
we
the
word. We got to do our
on this card, you want to do woulda, coulda, shoulda on this card?
There's lots of options.
I don't even think it's worthy of it. But all right, we'll do it. All right, let's do Parlay Buster. Jim wants to do the Parlay Buster.
I like the Parlay Buster.
All right.
That's my favorite one, to pick the one that everybody's gonna play.
Okay, what's the Parlay Buster?
Well, based off of line movement, like we're saying, that's insane. I'm gonna go to the main event just because main events are chaos.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Tetsuro Taira is 100% the Parlay Buster. That's going to be the one that's going to anchor every play. Good luck. Have fun with that.
Yeah, betting against Brandon Royval in your parlays is a terrifying thing. So I'm with you that's the Parlay Buster for me. That's pretty easy. All right, woulda, coulda, shoulda on this card. Ugh. The woulda, coulda, shoulda is the fight the pick that was like, why didn't we lay the mortgage?
Jonathan Pearce at -180 over Pat Sabatini.
Oh, okay. All right.
If he lands one shot on Pat is just not the same fighter.
Okay.
Like, God, a guy who got knocked out by Damon Jackson, we didn't lay the farm against a guy who made 2 mistakes.
Okay. All right. Let's see. Woulda, coulda, shoulda. I'll go Iron Turtle over Brad Tavares. I think at the end of the day, we're going, really? We didn't. We were worried about Brad Tavares winning a fight in the UFC late 2024.
Yeah.
So there's your woulda, coulda, shoulda. We both agree the Parlay Buster is the main event with Taira and the woulda, coulda, shoulda. You're going with Jonathan Pearce, which I cannot argue with at all. Jonathan Pearce. I'll go with Iron Turtle as our woulda, coulda, shoulda. So, all right, now we're done. Now we're done. No. It's I consciously was like, this card doesn't deserve extra segments. It's so bad. But what are you going to do? So, all right. Once again, join us live Saturday evening for the entire card for live betting. Good luck under your place, and we'll see everyone later.
See you guys on Saturday.